Hey guys, so I am today doing a bunch of work on, or not a bunch of work, a little bit of work on trying to get some, just a basic image set up for some video editing, and thought I'd just go ahead and live stream it. Just checking on my live stream components. Looking good here. Looking good here. Do. All right, this is cool. All right, so basically, what we're attempting to do is publish video, but quick, dirty, bang it out, high quality, looks good, but it's repeatable. It can be done over and over. So I'm working on it in terms of I'd really like to use like image magic and develop something that just bangs it out one after the other, and and get there, and then pull it from the website, and then put it into image formats, and then put it into videos as well. So we'll get there. It's not right now there, but I'm working on the process and identifying all the components. So the first tool I'm using is I think it's pronounced Gravit Designer. It's just a design tool, paint tool. It's free. Really makes it easy to work with. So that's cool. Let me resize it so it gets into our window here. All right. And I just used the regular edition, not the pro or anything. And so what I've done is, and it's got cloud, which is really cool. So what I've done is I've created some bleed areas. And so this is cocktail video bleed areas. And the idea is each one of these will become one of the cuts in the video that will be produced from the cocktails, right? So here's the cuts. Let's go ahead and pull up the. I'll show you what I'm working with here in terms of uh, the images. So like this is just a standard cocktail image that winds up on the site. Let me pull the page up so that you see that. Common cocktails, and we'll say Cosmopolitan, and so, and boom, we'll pull this over so you guys can see it. So basically what happens is each each of the um, each of the pages for the cocktails has a picture, and this picture is just 400 by 600, super simple, bang it out, get it done, looks good. Working on upgrading like photos, but this one's pretty good. This one's pretty good. Did a clean cut. It doesn't look awful. Down here, you can see that it's not very pretty, but we're working on it. We'll make it better. And then, but so the idea is over here on the right is the video. When you obviously resize, it dips down. But over here on the right, you see the video. Well, the idea is that that man, Alexa's all over it today. So over here, you see on the right, the video is. From your calendar, Morgan Creek sorry. Starts in 5 minutes. Anyway, so on the right here, we have the video, but you can see it's just my like default video, which is like 4 seconds. So the idea is I need to add a video here that is like the intro video for this cocktail. It's super simple, no big deal. But with that, there's got to be a couple variations of it, because like TikTok is one format, Instagram TV is one format, and by format I mean both resolution size and resolution size and time. Time's a big issue as well. So you can pretty much take the same video and either make it longer or shorter. and get good results, right? In terms of hitting as many platforms as possible. So like TikTok's sub 1 minute, Instagram TV is greater than 1 minute. Um, the Facebook, Twitter's super particular, both about file size and about length and all that. So you got to be really careful with Twitter. You really should optimize your video for that so it's easy to publish out there. One of my biggest complaints is it's really hard to publish from the site to a platform with video. So this is all so I can rapidly produce video. Since I'm already doing it for the website, I'm going to go ahead and create the video for all the platforms. So anyway, so the idea here is this would be maybe a 20-second, maybe a 58-second, or maybe a 105. It doesn't really matter for the site. The site's video is just an intro video for the cocktail. All it does is give you my name, or the website name, Commonwealth Cocktails, then who made this particular cocktail in terms of recipe. You can see it on the top here. It's by IBA, International Bartenders Association. And then that's the recipe, right? So it'll be Cosmopolitan, and then it'll say IBA, and then it'll show a picture of the cocktail. Then it does the credits for the song. Right now I'm using a song from this guy Kevin Pace, really nice guy. He's in Alexandria, Virginia, where I'm from. Super great jazz music, love it. But he's gone ahead and let me use his music, but of course I want to give credit, so I have a credit page for all of the music. Now I don't need to do credit pages for the images of the cocktails because those all come from Commonwealth Cocktails. And then we do the final cut, which is just the website with so commonwealthcocktails.com, and then the fade and the music. You know, it's really simple, really nice, but it allows me to use the video platforms as well as the image platforms. So the image platforms would be, you know, I would literally just go down here and do a social share from it, but you can't do that with the videos. So we have to produce videos. And as part of that production, you know, we come in, and so you have the image, right? And so I'm going to do we'll do the 500 by 700. We'll just do this one. We'll open it. And typically how my workflow is, I open all these up, right? Open them all up. And it is very boring, and this is the part that needs to get automated, right? And the key to this automation is actually when I produce the image from the original photograph, and then I Photoshop it, and then I crop and cut that. And what I need to do with that, and this is critical, and this is actually where it's a little difficult. This is a very subjective kind of process, right? So we'll do a place image on it, and we'll go up to pics, scroll down to Cosmopolitan. And in this case, I didn't like my GIMP cut, so we're going to use the one I produced. I upgraded GIMP, and the new GIMP seems to have screwed up the path on the path formula. So now I got to go back in and fix a bunch of stuff. So I'm not going to do that. So here you go. We're just going to load these suckers up. This tool does a pretty good job of making it easy. It remembers after you've selected it the first time where you're working out of. So that's nice. And you'll see I have in my layers the bleed areas. The bleed areas do make a difference. Each platform can both cut your preview as well as cut some of the image. So it's a real pain. But anyway, so we're going to go in, and as you see over here on the right, we're going to go ahead and try and basically fit it in the bleed lines, right? So no big deal. We'll go 800, and you kind of just get used to working here and moving quickly. Almost forgot. Let's go ahead and move our images below our bleed lines so we can still see our bleed lines. And you see I'm working in just basically a batch, and I'm trying to solve my problem in batch. Now, the best way to do this would actually be if I was really trying to make this automated, the best way to do it would actually be to automate the generation here, the actual file, generate the actual file, and then come in, look at my bleed lines, adjust it accordingly, save it off, right? And then boom, away I go, right? So, and another thing here is I'm not copying the original templates anywhere. I'm just using them, and then later on I'll export it. So this one looks pretty good. You see, I basically try and keep the glass within the bleed lines. I am willing to accept the garnish in this case. I think it's a orange peel. Would bleed out, but the actual main image would look pretty good. So, and this one's just a little big, so we'll go 375, center it, center it. Yeah, see, so this is the part that's subjective, right? So if I did it automated, this orange peel would actually fit within it, but when I'm looking at it in terms of symmetry, the symmetry exists on the glass, not on the orange peel and the glass, right? So that's why I say it's a little hard to automate this. I wish it was easier. We'll do 800, and that's going to be too big. So we'll go down to 550. And see, so so when I do those first two were landscape, right? This one's, or no, the first two are portrait and this one's landscape. So you can see here, really what I'm trying to do is fit the top of the glass and the bottom of the glass in. And, you know, it's not hard to do. But again, when you have a vertical, like, glass with, say, like a Bloody Mary, right? And I stick a celery into it. I actually don't mind the celery stalk going above my bleed line, but I want the glass within the bleed lines. And that's where I say it's very, this is the problem. It's not something you can automate easily, right? You know, and so it's a little difficult when you're getting into that level of, you know, being that particular, right? So we'll work on this guy a bit. Oy, this guy's going to be tough. I want to see, so this one's a big, this guy's big, but it's not that crazy. See, so for whatever reason, let's try 360. Yeah, that's the guy. So move it up a bit. There we go. Here we go. Move it up a bit. There we go. Looking good. Come on. All right. So this guy's going to be way off. So we're going to do 800. See, and then we can probably go up to 850 on this guy. Get it nice and centered. And I'm losing a bit of image quality. I know that because I'm not using the original with the original cut. Like I said, this is more just trying to work on the process and identify the pieces I need. You'll see that each one of these file sizes is that way for a reason based off the platform. So now we're going to do an export. In this case, we're going to do our PNG exports. And before I do that though, we got to go back in and turn off the bleed lines. This is annoying but critical. So normally, like if I was using GIMP, you can set like the bleed lines at a higher level, and I'm sure this tool would allow it. I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. So if anybody knows, let me know. Now we double check everything was in the bleed lines. So we know that's good, and now all the bleed lines are gone. So now we're going to do export. I wish this tool would give you keyboard shortcuts. That would make my life really, really easy, but no big deal. I'm not going to change the name. I don't need to in my situation because I use my folder structure to define the drink, and then each one of these is unique within that. So I don't need to get crazy in that way. So let's go through and just export all of our drinks. I'm working on it. Export. All right. 2 more to go. No big deal. Bang it out. And hopefully this is the last one. And then, so a lot of times I do forget to turn the bleed lines off. So I am pretty good though at remembering to go back through and double check that. So it's important to note they're PNGs, so they have the transparent background. I don't have a problem with that because when I import them into, in my case, I use DaVinci Resolve. When I import them in DaVinci Resolve, I'm already sticking on a white background. So it doesn't really matter for my process and my workflow if it's transparent or not. Basically, I just handle it, right? So no big deal. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll see, and as an example, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? But that's because I added a JPEG. I had the JPEG for the 1920 by 1080. And the reason for that is, I got to remember. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I do it for a reason. I think it's either YouTube, maybe the YouTube, like thumbnail. It looks better when I specify the thumbnail instead of trying to like get it in, and it's faster. Also, I use it on the website because all the videos on the website are 1920 by 1080, so they get fairly high resolution. And then but I need to add the thumbnail to do the poster, so that's typically what I do there. So we can just go into the 1920 by 1080 cocktail, right? It's already there. We say file, export, JPEG, and bingo bango, we're in Cosmopolitan already. And now we come back here, and there it is, right there. And you see this one's all white background now because it's a JPEG, which is really super nice. But at the same time, when you're doing like DaVinci Resolve, the JPEG will always be a white background, and that doesn't necessarily matter to me. It's easier just to export all PNG and go with the background. Just set the background in DaVinci Resolve. So that is how I do the image generation for all of the cocktails when I am about to import them in DaVinci Resolve. Next time I will probably do a video on just how I blow through doing the cocktail title page. So the actual title of the cocktail and the byline. So it's the title line and the byline. It's almost similar. Again, it's all templated. The idea being, how can I do it as rapidly as possible? All right, guys. Thanks.